All right. Welcome everyone to our virtual info session for Cinematic Ireland, the exciting upcoming group trip with CIE Tours and myself. My name is Brittany St. Julien. I will be your MC for the evening. We're going to wait at least one, maybe two more minutes just to see if anyone else comes in before we start our presentation. So I will see you in just a moment. All right, well, perhaps that's enough time to wait. I'll talk really slowly about travel perks in the agency before we get to Jerry's presentation about the itinerary. That way, if anyone does come in a little later, they're not missing out on too much. So I'm going to share my screen once more. Again, welcome everybody, and thank you for being here. We're going to talk pretty much exclusively about the Ireland trip that we're hosting in November. I'm going to be there, and I'm so excited. I hope that I can see you all there as well. So just going to tell you a little bit more about TravelPerks. That is the agency that I work with. I'm the group travel coordinator at TravelPerks. So come talk to me if you and 20 or more of your best friends want to plan an exciting group getaway. I'd be happy to help. We will also hear again from Jerry Urbanowski. She's a travel specialist with CIE Tours, and she'll tell us all about this incredible itinerary a little bit later. So a little bit about TravelPerks. First of all, did anybody think that travel agents with excellent service and low prices is kind of like finding a unicorn? Like a rarity? Do they exist? We don't know. Well, yeah, they exist. Here at Travel Perks, we like to say that we are your unicorn. We exist. We are right here. We're not make believe. It's a full service travel agency located in Eugene, Oregon, home of the Ducks. However, you don't have to be local to work with us. We've got a full team of agents who serve clients across the whole continent to get the best rates on trips all around the world. So, to our virtual attendees, which is all of our attendees, I don't think anybody else is in this room. You don't have to be our neighbors to get the deals, but if you are local or if you're ever in town for a college sporting event or something, then don't hesitate to swing by and say hi. I don't mean to brag, but we are right next to a 24-hour donut shop at Travel Perks. So it's day-night donuts, and they're delicious. There's that team I was telling you about. I adore my coworkers. They're all bright, knowledgeable folks who all help make Travel Perks wonderful. Our company owners, even Gary and Theresa, are agents themselves who work directly with clients as well. And the customer care consultants, or CCCs, work behind the CC scenes to support the personal travel planners as they make your travel dreams come true. I even have my own CCC over there in the groups department. His name is Damien. He is amazing, he is helpful, and he's amazingly helpful. So if you're booked for this trip or if you sign up after tonight's session, then most correspondence will come from me as your main point of contact for the group, but you may get calls or emails from Damien now and then as he supports me. As mentioned, we're a full service travel agency. That means we can assist in arranging cruises, resort stays, tours, custom trips, whatever you're envisioning. Just let us know. We'll help get you there. As you already know, that includes my specialty, group trips. Just like that lovely family reunion group there in the yellow shirts pictured. They're all on a private excursion that I arranged for them. They met actually some family members there in Jamaica too, so the group is even larger there than the folks that went on the cruise. So you may be wondering why you should even work with a travel agent, and I have 4 great reasons for you. The first is you'll work with unbiased experts. Our agents are experienced in finding the best trip for you at the best deals. And if you're unsure what the best deals are, then, or what the best trip for you might be, then we'll talk to you, figure out where you want to go and how to get you there. Service and advocacy is the second point. While we adore our friends at tour companies like CIE Tours, we work with them, but we work for you. So if you book a trip on your own and have any questions or needs pertaining to that booking, then you would usually have to track down a phone number or go to a website and talk to a chat bot and hope that you find a human eventually. And that's fine, but maybe it would be better if you just leave that kind of stuff to me. The third point is about exclusive discounts and bonuses. Well, come on, Brittany, can I get the best rates online if I book myself? Well, to put it plainly, not always. In fact, not only will we have those same rates available, no matter what the trip, I'm talking tours, cruises, whatever, but we will usually also have exclusive deals arranged by our agency or our company's headquarters because we're part of one of the largest travel agency networks in the country. That's Dream Vacations. And most importantly, all of this is done at no additional cost to you. You don't pay us to be your agents. The cruise lines and tour companies pay us to be your agents. They know that if you had a great, easy time booking your trip and you go and have a fantastic trip, then you'll just maybe want to keep doing it again and again. So that's my little spiel about travel perks. Now we're going to talk about Ireland. The Ireland trip on the right, obviously, is the one we will focus on. Just to letting you know that my company owners, Gary and Theresa, do also have an Ireland trip coming up. I believe that they may have actually sold that one last spot left. So if you were hoping to get in some additional culture, then you can reach out to me and we'll see if that spot is available. But we're here to talk about my trip. That's in November from the 1st through the 7th. So yep, that's a little bit about travel perks. We're pivoting to Ireland. I'm going to turn it over to our next speaker soon, but first I've got a little 30-second music video to play for you about some of the things that excite me about the trip. Hopefully it's not too chipmunk fast and you can all hear it. Let's see.
I hurry and lay and I think that you should come with me. There's so much for us to see, just hear this itinerary. We'll all meet in Dublin for our inaugural city tour. Meet new friends and raise a pint, plus 4-star hotels every night. On to Galway, where we'll see the Spanish Arch. County Sligo, sheepdogs make their livestock march. Yes, we'll learn how they make sweet and Donegal. Then to Derry, and its ancient city walls and giants. Causeway, Game of Thrones, and so much more to show. So book your spot and let's go!
Yeah, that's it. Okay, with that. Thanks, Jerry.
Oh, I love it. That was great. That was great. Why am I here? I can't top that.
That's the itinerary. Thanks, guys. I'm just kidding. Jerry's going to give you so much more information. Remember, there's going to be time for questions to be answered afterwards. So please feel free to drop questions in the chat as we go along or hang on to them for now. I also dropped a little QR code here that'll take you to a little flipbook digital brochure, I believe, that will give us more information as well, and some contact info for me, which is also there on the page. Groups@travelperks.com is a great way to reach me, as is that 503 phone number, 503-300-4293. My last note before turning it over is that spots are limited for this trip, like only a handful of double occupancy rooms left limited. So if you're excited about this trip after the session or maybe even during the presentation, you might want to scan that QR code and get your registration form open just in case. Bookings will be processed in the order they're received, and any remaining registrations will be waitlisted. I'll follow up with you guys. We'll have a conversation. But just want to make sure if you're excited, then I would submit a registration sooner than later. And without further ado, we'll stop sharing my screen and I will introduce our presenter. She is a travel specialist from CIE Tours. I don't know if we can see you giving it up. There's maybe a little clap react, but I was going to say give it up for Jerry Urbanowski.
Thank you, Brittany. Oh, I'm telling you, I am smiling, everybody. These presentations are not usually this fun and informative. I agree. CIE Tours has been around a long time. So again, my name is Jerry. I work with CIE Tours, and that is the company that has created and worked with Brittany to set aside space and views like this one. This is the Glens of Antrim are waiting for you. And it's a little corny, adventure awaits, but really it is waiting for you. That's me. That's at the Cliffs of Moher. Beautiful place. Again, I love Ireland because there's a little bit of everything for everybody. Natural scenery, talk about history. This country has it. Culture, when we think about writers. I can't help but think about politics again, music. It's just the best place. So, Brittany, I know you'll have your info again, but I always like to take a minute, talk about why working with a travel agent is great. But you did that for me tonight. It's true. Travel professionals, we know what we're doing and we work together quickly, efficiently. Brittany has been working with our groups team. So this is kind of cool. She has set aside group space for you. So I wouldn't wait too long. But if you like this tour, the Evergreen Ireland North, don't wait. Reach out. This is a top selling tour. And personally, November 1st departure, that is my favorite time of year to go to Ireland. I know that might sound a little crazy because it can be a little chilly. I live in New York City, so there's going to be chilly weather here that time of year. How about I be in Europe and enjoy it? But honestly, I have had gorgeous, sunny, almost warm days. I got a little bit of a pink nose when I was over last, so in November. It's possible to get all four seasons in one day in Ireland. We say that no matter what time of year you travel. I love the fall because there's less crowds. You can really enjoy all the visitor attractions. And again, yeah, there's going to be a bit of rain. That's how it gets green. But there's never a bad time to go. Plus, a lot of the shops are gearing up for the holiday season, which is a lot of fun. So let's talk about who we are at CIE Tours, and then I'll pivot back to your itinerary. It's good to know who you're on the road with. So don't let my New York accent fool you. We are Irish owned and operated, and we have been bringing people like yourselves to a very special part of the world since 1932, over 90 years. We know Ireland inside and out, every nook and cranny. I smile because if I bump into people in my neighborhood, there's a few that are from Ireland. We start chatting. Oh, what do you do for work? And I mentioned CIE, Chorus Umper Aaron. Their faces light up. We are part of the transportation arm of the Irish government, so everybody knows who we are. We've been working with some hotels for that entire 90 years, everybody. So again, what does that mean for you? It means that we're making really amazing vacations for you, and people agree with what I'm saying because at the end, we give a survey. Our guests tell us everything, how they found the hotels, the meals, the visitor attractions and experiences, the local guides, and of course, their driver guide who's been with them the whole week or so. We score right now 95 out of 100%. Well done, CIE. And our tour directors, our driver guides are currently scoring 98%. People have a good
Wow.
time on the road with us. Yeah, a lot of people come back and travel with us again. So I'm very proud to work for this company. And I love our staff overseas. They make my job in sales easy. We had Graham on the first picture, Brian over here. Look at Brian. Oh, these men are very handsome. They're also very good at what they do. They know these places inside and out. They are excited to share the culture, the history, the natural beauty of their homes with all of us. How nice is that? There's Niall there. You know, we stop for comfort stops and photo stops along the route each day. Additional stops not even mentioned in your itinerary. We break the day up quite a bit. And while you're taking pictures or sipping on your coffee, these guys are letting the hotel know, hey, we're going to be half hour early. Can you please make sure that Brittany's group, the rooms are ready to go? Or maybe, hey, we're running a few minutes late. They were having a lot of fun at the sheepdog farm. So if you can hold dinner, we'll be there a few minutes late. They do so much work behind the scenes. And what does that mean for you? Oh, gosh, it means a really relaxing, fabulous time on the road. Somebody else is taking care of everything. And by the end, when it's time to say goodbye, you really do feel like you're leaving a new best friend who knows where all the cool stuff is. We have a great time together. People often will email, or sometimes we get real handwritten letters, inquiring just to say happy holidays to, Simon here. We had a great time in August. People really do make friends with our staff, and it's really lovely. And I think the best part is they're not selling. You've already bought your vacation. They're focusing on your enjoyment. So it really comes together to make such a nice experience, but also the vibe is so much more genuine. There's Frankie there. Frankie, many years ago, our driver guide in Ireland, I think he was on Eurovision. So him and I are Facebook friends, and he'll post videos of him when he was younger. on TV chasing that music dream. Nowadays, he does our tours. He does do a little bit of singing during the day, but it's after hours that you may catch him in the hotel pub. Maybe he's doing a little bit, we call it a session with some local musicians. So, people, these guys really have a true passion for the destination, but also for people in general. Have you ever been on a guided vacation before? Well, if not, let me tell you about it. You will be in comfort and style on a modern Mercedes motor coach vehicle, like the one pictured here on a very foggy day. I think this picture was up in Sligo. Anyways, it's great. Our vehicles are no older than 2 or 3 years old. That's an advantage of working with CIE. The seats recline back a little. You have a little footrest. There's little spots to charge and plug your cell phones in. And there's Wi-Fi on board. Hello, isn't that nice? Good way to make people back home jealous with your gorgeous videos and pictures, but also to stay in touch. Maybe you got to check on the kids, check in with the dog walker or the cat sitter. Anyways, Wi-Fi is great. Now keep in mind, if you're up there in Northern Ireland, right there on the beautiful seas, yes, the Wi-Fi might go in and out a little bit, but I'll tell you, 9 out of 10, you have that available to you throughout the day. There's also a bathroom on board. Now, Brittany, this question comes up a lot. How does it work with the bathroom? People are very curious and concentrated on that.
I
So
know
it
I
is
am.
available. I know. It is available. However, it is a European Union rule, not a CIE rule. It is a rule of the road. That bathroom is not to be used when the coach is in motion. Okay, things have changed a little over the years. It's more about safety. Okay, fine. Now, the thing is, you're never on board the vehicle for more than an hour to an hour and a half at a time. So the chances of anybody really needing that bathroom are pretty nil because you're having comfort and photo stops along the route. Now, if somebody absolutely needed it, we'll pull over to a safe spot. There you go. But it's something I like to mention because people ask about it. Anyways, that's the vehicle and that's the inside. Ooh la la. You know, if anybody has to commute when you get back home, what a bummer after traveling like this for a week. Comfortable, kept squeaky clean. Remember, this is kind of Niall or Simon's or Frankie's. This is his office all week. They keep it so clean. They are, we take pride in our vehicles. We like to keep things very nice. So, anyways, you'll be very comfortable on board. If you do shopping during the day, loads of space for the shopping. And after you get to your first hotel, your driver guide is going to let you know what the deal is for the next day and the week. If you're changing hotels on this tour, you are the next morning. They're going to let you know what time breakfast is, what time to have your bags out next to your hotel room door, and what time we're leaving the hotel. As long as you have your bags out on time, the hotel staff and your driver guide work together while you enjoy breakfast, and they get the luggage underneath the motor coach. How great is that? You're not pulling you're not pulling the big bag, if you will, around the hotel. Get it to the first room. We take it from there. Absolutely lovely. Great way to travel. Something else that makes this different, special, and I think that's why a lot of travel agents enjoy working with us. Everything I talk about tonight, everything on Brittany's QR code website and flyers, it's all included in that land tour price. So that's nice for you because you don't have to keep paying along the route each day. I wouldn't like it if we pulled up to Giant's Causeway and I'm all ready to see some natural beauty and I'm told, okay, €10 for everybody. I'd say, what the heck? I thought I already paid a few months ago. That's not how we do things, okay? Everything you see is included. That's what I meant when I said our guides are a little different in that they are fully focused on your enjoyment. They are not worried about selling. That's my job now tonight, and I know I do a good job. So I love that for everybody. Now, what do you need money for on the road? That's always a question I get. Well, there's some free time sprinkled throughout this program. So if you want to go off and do your own thing, then that would be, you might need some money for that. Souvenirs, and God knows there's a lot of shopping to be done in Ireland. Oh my. And if you do want to go to the pubs at night, which I highly recommend, if you don't drink, that's okay. You can still enjoy the culture, the people in Ireland in the pubs. Of course, that's a call for everybody, but I will say even if you're not having a beer or a drink, it can be so much fun to go to a pub. Okay. And it's nice to have local currency. Um, if there's a pop-up shop or there's an adorable store, but their credit card machine is down, you don't want to not be able to do some shopping. So that's why it's always good to have a little cash. Okay. Something else we do that's different, our final documentation. So a few weeks after you're paid in full, before you go away, you're going to get some backpacks and goodies. You'll get a printed itinerary, which is so handy, especially when you're packing, but also bring it with you overseas. So nice to know, oh, what are we doing tomorrow? Without looking at your cell phone. It's great. You'll also have a little go-to guide for Ireland and Britain, and that's going to give you any information you need from, tipping, weather, packing checklist, lots of good detail in there. Again, I love that, you can have that info without having to go on the phone. Okay, with the backpack, which is water resistant, there'll be a poncho. And for November, yeah, chances are it's going to rain several times while you're overseas with us. But let's be honest, if you went to Ireland and it didn't rain, I think you'd be a little disappointed, wouldn't you? Okay, so you'll have your poncho, you have a luggage strap, luggage tag, an electronic converter, because the system there is a little different. So you plug in the converter, then plug in your appliance into that. And by the way, I have bought some fancy schmancy converters on Amazon. Oh my gosh, once upon a time at Radio Shack, Best Buy. The one I get
Radio
from my
Shack, what's
company.
that? I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
I know, right? What year is it, right? No, it's true. When I was first at the anyway, I bought the fancier ones, thinking I had to have that. I'll tell you, the one from CIE in that little orange box works the best. They're durable. I can find that at little orange box very easily, even if my hotel room is a little messy. And again, they're durable. So if I drop it, step on it, whatever, it's fine. Anyways, some really good stuff from us, including that water bottle, which is really nice. And I still use it, even when I'm home. It's great. Ireland is a great place to go. Now, I know you guys, many people are calling in. I'm in New York. Some of you are out west. But, it's a great destination. As far as Europe goes, it is the gateway, isn't it? It opens up so much to us. We have so many choices when it comes to air. Northern Ireland in particular is quite fabulous. And because this tour begins and ends in Dublin, yes, we can do that pre-clearance, which I'll talk about later. Many of us, myself included, do claim Irish heritage, which is very interesting and fun. And while that is so interesting, I get to talk about that almost every day. I'm quite lucky, but they speak English there. So, if it's your first time to Europe, this is a great way to get your feet wet, so to speak. I love Ireland because as a travel destination, there is something for everybody. And it's true. You'll see my photos tonight. Beautiful scenery, so much culture. Talk about history. My gosh, they have it. What I love is you'll walk by and your guide will say, oh, yeah, that pub is 400 years old. And you just think, oh, my gosh, it's almost twice the age of America, the United States. It's just amazing. There's never a bad time to visit. And I just mentioned earlier, November to me is still such a nice time to go. You can have some mild days mixed in there. You're looking at temperatures from the upper 30s overnight, possibly into the low 50s. You could get some mild weather sprinkled throughout the month. And I'm just moving on here. Sorry, guys. Anyways, we have a lot of reasons to go, but I'm itching to show you a little bit about the country. So on this particular tour, we're going to be exploring a little of the West, and then we're going up into the Northern Ireland. Beautiful. Typically in travel, when we talk about Ireland, we're talking about the whole island, but make no mistake, there are two countries that call this island home. We have the Republic of Ireland, which is part of the EU. They use the euro. Dublin and Galway, yes, are part of that. So you will need the euro. And then you're going to be going up into Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, okay? And they are on the pound sterling. They are on a different currency. Now, if you're using tap to pay credit card, it doesn't matter. Is it safe to travel from one to the other? Absolutely. I have gotten to visit both countries many, many times. and I'm here to tell the tale. It's fabulous, it's safe, they're very friendly and welcoming, especially to Americans and Canadians. They love chatting with us, which is lovely. In fact, I was saying to Brittany, the King and Queen of England were just over in Belfast a few days ago. Now, CIE brings our guests to many places: Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, Italy, Iceland, Spain, and now Portugal. But of course, tonight I am focused on my favorite destination, Ireland. I won't go into it too much because I'm going to do it day by day, but we have some great tour highlights. Like I said, a little something for everybody on this tour. Whether it's your first time to Ireland ever, perhaps it's been a while, you're coming back, or maybe you've never been to Northern Ireland. Something for everybody. And some of my personal favorite things and places, which I just love to share. So I'm going to talk a little bit about hotels, but if anybody has any deep dive questions, follow up with Brittany, or of course, go to the hotel websites. But here's some quick info. The Croke Park Hotel is where you'll begin for a night. This is a modern, very upscale 4-star hotel, which is right across the street from Croke Park Stadium. So that's a fun location. It's about a 20-minute walk or so from the Dublin city center, 5-10 minutes by taxi to the city center. Great spot. Galway Bay Hotel in Galway. Look at that. Look at the views you're going to have there. This is where Irish people that don't live in Galway, this is where they go on holiday. And that's how you know it's really special. 4-star beachfront hotel. This is what we call the Salt Hill Promenade in Galway. So you're getting views of Galway Bay and even the Clare Hills. If it's a clear day, you can see them. Talk about Irish warmth, hospitality, fabulous amenities, and you're 5 minutes by car from Galway city center. Great spot. On to a night at the Station House Hotel in Letterkenny. So this is a strong 3-star hotel. Now, Letterkenny is in County Donegal, okay? So it is north, but you're still in the Republic. Very comfortable. It's convenient and really, really friendly, fabulous service and staff. I like that it's a family-run hotel, so it does have that really extra sweetness and warmth to it. And you can walk to shops, some pubs, restaurants. There's some nightlife. They have it's very sweet. They have a movie theater in town, which is a lot of fun. You might not have time to take in the movie, but it's fun to mention. And then you can kind of take a deep breath and relax. You'll have 2 nights in good old Belfast at the AC Hotel by Marriott. Fabulous property, modern 4-star. It's actually a waterfront hotel. And you have views of the famous Titanic Quarter, which is where King Charles was for some of his visit to Northern Ireland. And that's very special that he was there. If you missed it in the news, which is quite possible, I would say please give that a Google because it's so fun to see the different things he and Camilla did when they were in town. But yeah, you can walk to so many things, including Victoria Square, where there's shopping and so many beautiful pubs. Belfast is a great spot. And then you'll end where you began, at the Croke Park Hotel in Dublin, ending for one night. Let's do your day-by-day itinerary. We begin in bustling Dublin City. Your tour will take off at 2 o'clock with a panoramic tour of the city. So when we think of Dublin, I mean, when I do, I think of Georgian architecture, I think of cozy pubs, and I think about friendly people, even though it is a bustling city. That's the General Post Office. You're going to take in views just like this one as you make your way through the city with your guide. And then back to your hotel after you take in the sights, Trinity College, St. Stephen's Green. You're going to see the River Liffey, up and down the River Liffey. It's so nice. You see people constantly walking to get their steps in. It's beautiful. That's what I do when I'm in Dublin. And I love it. But you're going to see all these big corporations and companies that are very familiar to us Americans. Google has offices, JP Morgan, Salesforce. The list goes on, but it's very interesting as you're having your panoramic tour to take in the sights. Back to your hotel, you'll freshen up and then have a welcome drink with your group. And this is great. This is when you meet everybody. Driver guide will give a little chat, letting you know what to expect for the rest of the week together. And then you'll have the rest of the evening free to do as you wish. We give free time where it makes sense. And of course, it makes sense to have free time in good old Dublin. And these are some travel agent friends of mine. We were having a little drink before we called it a night. It was a great time. And that's the Haypenny Bridge, everybody. How romantic on the River Liffey. It is a very safe city. It is a city, though. So I do recommend to just make sure if you have earbuds, only put one in at a time, perhaps, and pay attention. But taxis are plentiful. So maybe you walk to go get dinner, have a drink, maybe get a taxi back. And by the way, if you want to get a taxi from your hotel, any of your hotels on tour, those hotels will be more than happy to call a taxi and get that arranged for you. Very nice. Okay, day 2, we are leaving Dublin and driving west. We are making our way through the Irish Midlands, where you'll start to see the 40 Shades of Green, and you're visiting one of my top 5 favorite places in the whole country, Sean's Bar in beautiful Athlone. This is the oldest pub. It dates back to 900 AD, okay? Now, you're going to enjoy a little drink. Maybe you'll have an Irish coffee. Timmy, who is the manager and does the chat here, is absolutely fabulous. I encourage you to look up Sean's Bar. He's going to tell you the history, not just of Sean's Bar, but whiskey and the impact it had on Ireland, on this part of the country, the monks that created it. It's incredible the amount of information and ties that famous drink has had on the world, but also Sean's Bar. Well known the whole world over. Can mention Sean's Bar in a pub in New York, and they'll know what we're talking about. Anyways, Timmy's great. Tell him that Jerry says hello. Have a little drink with your group. Back on the motor coach, continue on west to Galway, and a local guide is going to join you and give you a guided walking tour of the city. So I'm wearing my clattering. I have my love, loyalty, friendship symbol hanging up in my little apartment here, but here it is in Galway, where it originated. So some of you might want to take a moment or two to chat with the driver guide and ask him, hey, where can I buy some claddagh? I'm dying to get that as a souvenir. And he'll let you know a reputable shop or two where you can do that. But it's all over, and it's just such a sweet symbol. For me, I see it, and I think of my grandmother who had earrings and her ring, and now I have my own, so it's just nice. Anyways, we'll have our guided walking tour. There's a lot to take in Galway City. It's a medieval city, so there's lots of history. Even the song that Brittany had with the Spanish Arch, you'll get to see it all, and then you'll enjoy some free time. What a great place to have free time. Just a few minutes walk from the pedestrianized streets with shops and restaurants is where I took this picture here. This little boat here is called a Galway hooker. It's a type of ship, or a little boat, I should say. But how beautiful and peaceful to get scenes like this. 5-10 minutes later, you're in the thick of things with shoppers and tourists. It is fabulous. I would say Galway feels more like a bustling college town than it does feel like a city. Not too overwhelming. And by the way, I recommend fish and chips as your meal this night. McDonald's in Galway, chef's kiss, fabulous. It's not fancy schmancy, but my oh my, everybody, they have a few choices. Fish and chips at McDonald's, the best. Oh, and I guess my little Irish sheepdog agrees. How funny. That's great, actually. Great segue, because the next day, we're going to leave Galway and up into County Sligo. Oh my God, it's just so beautiful here. Kind of looks like a dream. Again, you're never on board the vehicle for more than an hour to an hour and a half at a time before we have a comfort stop or a photo stop or, a visit or an attraction to visit. So you're never on board that vehicle too long, but how nice that you're getting light commentary as you take in these beautiful views. And then you'll see those special dogs at work. So there's my little friend there, Jack the dog. Now, if you're looking to hug and kiss these pups, I'm sorry, I hate to break the news to you. They're probably not interested. You could have a pork chop in your pocket. They don't care. These dogs are ready to work. They are so happy that you have pulled on up. They see our motor coach, and I don't know if they can read CIE, but they know it's time to get working. And that's exactly what these dogs want to do. So this is Martin of Atlantic Sheepdogs with his dog, Jack. I don't know if Jack will be working the day you're there, but they're going to give you a little chat. You're going to learn about what it's like to be a farmer, especially in these modern times of ours, and the impact on technology and how it's still better to use these dogs. Isn't that amazing? These guys are amazing. Just the way they work together, the handler, the dog. And then, of course, the demonstration is so much fun. Sometimes there are little puppies that you can play with and get pictures with. But remember, when you get to customs, you were never on a farm, you were never with animals. As we continue on, you're going to visit Triona Design. So anybody looking for that Irish sweater, this could be a great opportunity to buy that. I love that they have things at every price point. There's usually a few good items in clearance and sale. Do you have to shop? Of course not, but it is available for some people to do. And then you'll have a little bit of time to go around the town before we continue to Letterkenny, check into your hotel, freshen up, dinner with our group. Oh boy, day 4 is a day that you have to make sure you have comfortable shoes on and your cell phones are all powered up. We're going to have a guided walking tour of famous Derry or London Derry, depending on who you're talking to. So this is the old city, and these walls here date back to the 17th century. I love this photo here. That's the Peace Bridge in Derry. And then you have Guildhall in the middle of the photo. To the left is actually St. Eugene's, a beautiful church. It's a very beautiful city. There's a lot of history. Now, the history does go back hundreds, if not longer, right? Thousands of years. But you're going to get a lot of information from an amazing tour guide. This is Ron McNamara. You'll have somebody like him or his team take you through. Our group right here is literally under some of the walls, which are magnificent, by the way. Now, I love that you get history that dates back hundreds of years as well as just 20, 30 years. And Derry, London Derry, played a big part in the peace process that actually our president, Bill Clinton, helped move along, which was great. And it's just wonderful that a city that did have the troubles, if you will, is now thriving and has people like us touring and exploring and learning from them. So I love Derry. It is my favorite city in all of Ireland, and I know you guys will love it too. We'll continue on, and we'll visit the Giant's Causeway. Sorry, beautiful. That was what that background photograph is. And then you're going to have dinner. This is very neat at a thatched pub, so a thatched roof, if you will, pub. Very cool, and it dates back to 1654. This is special. It's the Cross Keys Inn. Now, they do have other tourists come and visit, but as far as groups go, only CIE is allowed to come with groups. So I promise you're going to have a great night. Maybe you'll have a Guinness, maybe take in some music, but you're not going to feel like you're part of the herd. You're going to feel like, oh, wow, we got really great service and they were incredibly friendly here. It's a fabulous evening, and it scores very highly with our guests. The Cross Keys Inn. 1654. Can you imagine? You're having dinner somewhere that's older than the country you're from. Amazing. On to Belfast. The next day after a big Irish breakfast, you'll have a panoramic tour of Belfast City. So much to take in here. Again, this is another place that had a big role, part of the 90s peace process. And this is for what many of you have been waiting for, okay? Yes, you'll have scenes like this one. There's a lot of graffiti that we call it graffiti. To me, it's actually incredible political themed artwork. So it's nice that someone is taking you through the city, but also explaining what you're looking at, telling you who these faces are, what their lives were like, and how they got involved in politics, but also in the Troubles and the peace process. So anyways, Belfast is very special for that. Now, let's bring it forward to modern day. Game of Thrones fans rejoice because you'll explore the city a bit and then you get to go do your Game of Thrones experience. It's a great visitor center. People love it. And, as you're driving through Ireland, your whole tour, if you enjoy that TV show, then you're going to be enjoying the whole week, looking out that window and going, oh my gosh, this looks so familiar. Whether it's from Game of Thrones or from other TV shows and movies, The Banshees of Inisherin. You're going to be in Galway, not too far away where that movie was filmed. So there are going to be moments and scenes that just are so beautiful, but also familiar to you from TV and movies, which is great. Okay, so after you have your White Walker, King's Landing time, enjoy a little CGI magic, it is time to go back to Belfast City Centre, where the rest of the evening is free for you to explore. Belfast is awesome. It's just so fun. Beautiful architecture, as you can see in that background photo. Check out the pubs, even if you just pop in and have a soft drink or just look around and leave. The architecture inside is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. A very different vibe than Dublin and different than Galway, but charming and lovely. The next day, I love this again after a big Irish breakfast. We're going to visit Titanic Belfast. Now, this is not a museum. This is technically a visitor experience. It's not a museum because no artifacts officially live here. Now, some artifacts do visit, which is interesting and lovely. It's very modern, and the buildings were built this way to look like the hull of the Titanic and her sister ship. You're going to learn all about the impact the Titanic being built in Belfast had on the city, as well as the countries of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And of course, the many, many people who sadly lost their lives during that maiden voyage. It's a bit sad, but it's also a bit beautiful just learning about it. Back to Dublin, and I love this for all of you, where you'll go and enjoy some time at the Merry Ploughboy Pub. Say that 5 times fast. The Merry Ploughboy Pub, you'll take in some traditional Irish music, okay? I want to say a little bit of storytelling, but also some dancing. So that's a lot of fun. And for me, being a New Yorker, the sound system, the food quality, the drinks, to me, it's all Broadway level. This is held at such a high level because Merry Ploughboy Pub is owned and operated by the musicians that perform there. So they do take things very seriously. Everything is so seamless and perfect and fun. The food is delicious. Great opportunity to get one last Guinness. And how fun to see that you saw Irish step dancing in person. Oh my gosh, great night. Sadly, all good things must come to an end, even this tour. So we'll have a big Irish breakfast, and I always like to share a photograph. Now, there's much more. Fresh fruit, pastry, parfait. It goes on and on. But again, the puddings, it's all there for you. Each hotel does it a little different, but that's an idea of things. We'll get you to the airport. You'll check your luggage in. And this is the thing I wanted to give a quick mention to. It's sad our vacation is over. However, because we're leaving out of Dublin, you get to enjoy U.S. passport holders U.S. free clearance, which means after you check your bag and go through security, you'll follow signs for your gate, and the sign will say, okay, gate 7, go to pre-clearance. And you'll do just that. Wait on a line, never ever too long. I promise I've done this many times. And there you go. You're doing customs on the other side of the Atlantic. So it's kind of great because you have your flight back home, and when you land, you're treated as a domestic flight. I love that. I know I'm very spoiled being in New York, but it just takes a little stress out of the end of the vacation, which is lovely. All right, everybody, that was the Evergreen Ireland North, 7 days, 6 nights, everything included, as we mentioned earlier. If you have any questions, feel free to send them over. Back to you, Brittany.
Holy moly, that was amazing. Thank you, Jerry. I was going to ask about the Irish breakfast, so I'm glad that you actually showed a picture at the end and talked a little bit about that because you kept saying full Irish breakfast. And like that, I'm already hungry, but I want to know exactly what I'll be eating. So fantastic. I don't see any questions in the chat. So now is the time, friends. If you have any questions, anything burning for either Jerry or I, we hopefully have answers for you. So feel free to drop those into the chat or use the Q&A feature or raise your digital hand. But I might see that one slower than the chat. I'm not seeing anything though. Of course, you all know you can reach out to me at groups@travelperks.com or the phone number there that she's sharing as well, 503-300-4293, in order to get any information you might need. Happy to help you out and get you signed up for this fantastic trip. I think. Oh, we do have a question. How many people will be in the group? Well, all together, I guess maybe Jerry, you can answer what the max capacity of people traveling
Sure.
all together will be.
Okay. So our vehicles, as you can imagine, make and model, they vary a tiny bit. But let's say the maximum on board would be 40 to 44 people. Now, for November, I can't promise if it's going to be sold out or not, but I would guess there'd probably be a maximum of 35 to 40 people. That would be my guess. Although, Brittany, if you do your job, it might be a full bus. We don't know. Um,
Right.
Never fear.
Theoretically,
There's
about
always,
half of
we
the group will
always,
be us, right?
yes, yes. So yeah, the grand total would be, I would say, 30 to 44 people. Now I can't promise how many, but generally that time of year it would probably be 30 or so people, which is nice because that means there's a few empty seats. Um, it's a great way to travel. Our driver guides handle large crowds all the time. Um, so they're very good at divvying up their attention. But remember, when you're sitting in that seat taking in the beautiful views, it almost doesn't matter how many other people are on board, does it? Because, he has a microphone and a speaker and you're enjoying the commentary. Sometimes we play music to break things up a little. It's just lovely. But it's nice. I always love it. I always repeat it. Someone else is taking care of everything. Just show up on time with a smile and be ready for a great day.
Excellent. And then another question, if we want to come in a day early, can that be arranged? Absolutely, yes. And
Mm-hmm.
CIE gets
Yep.
great rates, so we can book you an additional day at the same hotel that we're going to be staying
Yep.
in on night one. I'm doing that because
Oh,
I
are
don't
you
want to
smart?
fly
Yeah. Yeah.
in and then immediately start a tour. I would like a little bit of time to gain my bearings first and
Yeah.
explore a bit myself before we jump into that first day one city tour. So great question. I'm happy to assist with booking that day early hotel. Yes. All
Brilliant.
right. Any other questions? This is, again, last call for this virtual session, but you do have my information and you can reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm in the office Monday through Friday. So, well, friends, I think that that might be it then. Jerry, any last notes or any parting words for
I
the
know
group?
I, I know it's a little corny, but it's such a great tour, whether you've been there before or not. I can't wait for all of you to come on the road with us at CIE. I know you're going to fall in love with Northern Ireland. The people are just special, warm, friendly, curious, lovely. The hotels on this tour are really nice. And the pace, especially if you do that pre-night, doing a pre-night slows the tour down a little. You feel little bit more relaxed. Okay, so if you're able to do a pre-night, I highly recommend it. That's a great idea.
Wonderful. All right. Well, friends, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you there.
Oh my
Woo.
gosh, very good. All right, Brittany Sloan.
Yes. All
Very
right.
good.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night, and I'll see you in Ireland. Thanks, Jerry. All
Bye.
right. Bye bye.